Okay, let's start working on joints and members. So the modeling journey will be very easy if you know how to work with joints and members. So let's learn it. I'm creating a new model. So I'll be getting a pop-up. I'll be selecting start blank model and metric neutral force. Click OK. So my proceed window will be ready. So here now what I am going to do is I am going to work with joints first. I will show you how to work with joints, and then what we will do is how to work with members, and then we will learn how to work with both. Now let's create a model. S- So when you want to create the first joint, so it always starts with starting an absolute joint. So now I am going to give here an absolute joint. I can go for alphanumeric like J001, and I am going to give it at a origin 000 with 0 fixities. I click apply. So I get a joint over here. Now I go to the XY plane. Now what I'm going to create is I'm going to create a square space. Now to create that, what I would do is I can either go to absolute and I can give the coordinates, or I can go to relative. So in the relative, what I would do is I will create one joint at 4 corners from here. So what I am going to do is I am going to give a relative coordinate of, let's say, 5 meter and x5 y5. So it will create one joint here. So you can see. So this is my second joint. Next one, I'm going in anti-clockwise direction. So this is my third joint. Now I'm going for my fourth joint. And finally, I'm going for my fifth joint. Okay. Now let's say I want to create a joint at the midpoint. So there are different ways to create it. I can either directly come over here and use relative and give a relative value of -5. So it will create a joint. That's one way. The other way is you can do this one along a line. So if I take along a line, what it would do is I want to select two joints to define the line, and I am going to tell I want how many joints I need. Let's say I am going to give number of joints as 1. That what it will do is, so one more joint comes, it will divide equally. So it will create a joint at exact middle. So this is one way. Now let's say if I want to create 3 joints, like if I want to create 3 joints, means total overall length I want to divide it by 4. So what I want to do over here is I can come over here and give 3 joints to create 3 joints over here. Control Z. Okay. Now another way is to create intersections. So use this option intersection. So what I would do is I will take the first line and my second line, and if I click apply, it will create an intersection over here. Now another one is relative to a line. So now let's say I want to create a joint relative to this line, either in x coordinate, y coordinate, z coordinate, and angle. So let's understand each. Now first I will take the x length. So here what I am going to tell is, okay, this is my line, and I want to create a point at a relative length of 10 meters from this particular joint, my first joint. So what I want to give over here, so it will create a joint at 10 meters from the first joint. Now let's say, let me put Control Z and let me reselect it. So I want to create from here. So let's say I take this one as my first joint. So this is my first joint. This is my second joint. So I want to tell its relative length of -5. So I want to give it as -5. Now there is another way around. Now let's say I am going to tell relative to this line, it should be happening at that x coordinate of how much? Now let's say I want to find the x coordinate over here. That's 5 meters. So if you see, the x coordinate is 5 meters. So what I want to do is, for that I need to select this and just give the coordinate value. It will create the joint. Now let's say I want to do with another one. I want to do with y-axis. So for y-axis, what I want to do, it's always the first two joints will define the line. It will create the y-coordinate at any point. So now my y-coordinate in this particular point is actually 0. So I want to provide over here coordinate value of 0 and it will create a joint. Now let's say I want to create in the z coordinate. So here it's a little bit tricky. If you have something to be done in the z coordinate, that you can do, but the line should be also in the z coordinate. So now we are in a 3D plane, so I am just sticking to xy. Now there is another choice, that's to give the angle. Now let's say I want to add an angle relative to line. So it will ask me for few inputs. The first one is joint A and second one is joint B. So this will define the line at which I want to reference my angle and the new joint. And I want to define an joint which will define the plane and the angle. So this is my third joint. And then I want to provide my angle over here. And then what I want to do is I want to provide my baseline length. So this length is essentially, it's the length along the line at which the intersection line will be at intersecting over here. Now this is the intersection length. Now let's see it over here. So I want to create a joint at a degree of 45 degree over here. So what I would do is I will select my first joint. I select my second joint. Let's select third joint, which will define the angle over here. Then I will give 45 degree. Then I am selecting my baseline length 0 and I am selecting my intersection length 2. So what it would do is it will create a joint at 2 meters with 0 baseline length and at an angle of 45 degree. So you can see this is 2 meters. Now what I want to do is I am going to give a baseline length of 3 meters. So what it would do is it will create a joint. It will have a distance over 3 meters over here, and then the 2 meters would be coming. Now just find that what I would do, I will give one more joint at intersection length of 4 and I will create an intersection joint. Now if I check the distance, I can see this is my 3, this is the baseline length 3 and this is my intersection length 2 and intersection length 4. Now if you look at the angle, my angle will be 45. Okay, so this is how you work with this joint, how you provide the joint with an angle. Now you may have the doubt that what happens if I want to move the joint, the angle in the negative degree. So here let's say if I give the angle minus 45, it will create a joint in this axis. So since my joint over here, then only this minus 45 will work. Now let's say my third joint is J005 and my baseline length is 0 and intersection length is 2. And if I provide 45 degree positive, so this angle will be calculated from here to here. So you can see a new joint is created over here with the positive 45. So I hope this one helps for you, and we will see you in the next video.